I've been in the industry for 20 years. I've helped open 25 restaurants. I've also helped scale 50 restaurants. And the number one question I get asked is what makes a restaurant successful, right? What's the secret sauce? No pun intended. It's pretty simple, not easy, but I call it the success trifecta. Okay, you have to have three things, right? The first thing is you have to have a good product, right? Good ambiance, good food, okay? Good drinks. Not great, good, okay? People just have to be able to enjoy them. Next, you have to have elevated hospitality. Just to be able to compete and to be able to be successful, you have to have elevated hospitality. If you have standard hospitality, then you're just swimming around with 90% of the other restaurants, okay? The third piece of the trifecta that's important, that's crucial, every piece is crucial, but this one is too, consistency. You have to have consistently good food, and you have to have consistently elevated hospitality. If you can have all three of those things, you'll be right in the middle of the success trifecta, and you'll be rocking and rolling, you'll be doing good. The problem is, a lot of people have trouble with the consistent elevated hospitality. Consistently elevated food is easier. Again, doesn't mean it's easy, it's just easier than the two. The reason why elevated food is easier, consistent food is easier, is because it's controlled, right? You're in the kitchen and you're controlled. Yes, there are still variables. You're still dealing with the employees. You're still dealing with, food vendors and ordering and stuff like that, 86 items, whatever, but you're still controlled. You can get the food in there. You can make the food, a lookbook that you use. You have an expo that's making sure that everything comes out consistently and you guys are watching and you control it, right? It becomes a factory once you get all the systems down right. With hospitality, you have a very, very big X factor, and that's the guest, because you don't know what to get from the guest. You don't know if the guest is to come in a good mood or bad mood. You don't know if the guest, what their perception is of good hospitality. Some people are really uptight about it. They expect the world. Some people are laid back, just want to have a good time. There's just such a huge variable when it comes to the guest. So you have to really train your staff to be able to adapt to the guest, to read the guest, understand the guest, but also to overcome the guest. Because I got this question the other day from a server I was asking them, okay, well, what are some roadblocks for you delivering excellent hospitality? And she said, what do I do if a guest is an asshole? And my answer to that was, that's really not your job to decide if they're a quote unquote asshole or not. My definition of that, your definition of that, their definition of that, their definition of that will all be different, okay? Our job isn't to decide whether they are or they aren't. And our job is definitely not to decide when we cut off the hospitality, right? They haven't crossed these certain thresholds, so we're cutting off the hospitality. That's a bunch of BS. What you're here to do is serve. You've gotten a job in the service industry. You're here to serve people, whether you like it or not. It is what it is. That's a fact. You're here to serve people. People are coming in to be served. You're here to be a hospitable host them and serve them. And then after that, it's not your job to decide whether they're being rude, whether they're snapping at, I don't respond to people that snap at me. What does it matter? You're there to serve, not to feed your ego or have these parameters of when I cut off hospitality. That's a big part of it. When you can control that, when you can control your ego and control your pride and say, I'm here to serve, I'm here to do a job, and I'm going to do that job and see it through no matter what, then you're going to deliver a consistent, elevated hospitality experience. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. Someone's rude, like in a way where they're calling you names or cursing at you, being disrespectful or vulgar or anything like that. Of course, that you don't put up with that. That's a whole nother story. But if someone's just being short, they're not talking to you right, maybe they cut you off, maybe they say that their food's wrong or they don't like their food in a really, really abrasive way, maybe they snap at you, whatever it is, you got to roll with the punches and do your thing. Your job is just to go through it, be a professional and get through that stuff. And a lot of times, if you get someone that's rude or a quote unquote asshole, you can flip them with a really, really good hospitality experience and having a really good attitude with them and really exceeding their expectations. And once you flip them, then you've completely transformed their experience, their mood, which will be really delivering hospitality. That's really the definition of it, right? Just completely changing their mood and their experience. Then you're gonna have a little bit of sense of pride because you went from dealing with someone who was hard to deal with, you handled it, and you actually flipped their mood because of your professionalism and how good you are at your job. So if you wanna run a successful restaurant, there's obviously a lot of factors, but when I break it down to first principles, the simplicity of it is good food, good product, good ambiance, elevated hospitality experience consistently. Once you get all those put together, then you're gonna have a winning formula. Now, there's a lot of things that go into that, right? There's advanced leadership that needs to be trained properly to uphold everything. There's systems that need to be put in place to make sure that people are doing their jobs. They have clear-cut direction on what their jobs are and accountability systems so they know what the consequences are if they don't do their jobs. There has to be a comprehensive training protocols to make sure that they get trained the right way the very first time, and ongoing training to make sure that they stay trained, they stay motivated, they stay on course, and they stay with that focused mindset of what we want them to focus on. But there's a lot that goes into it. You also have culture development as well. But once you get all these things down, then you can really start focusing on those first principle things. Things start becoming much easier because everything's a mess, right? But with systems and training and culture, leadership, all that good stuff, you start wrangling it in, and all of a sudden it starts becoming much easier, much more focused, much more consistent. And then you'll see what success looks like with a restaurant. If you're struggling in a restaurant, make sure your food's coming out consistent first. After that, really start focusing on training, ongoing training, and creating systems for your staff now, and training your leadership team to support all that. And I promise you're going to see some serious results, and you'll see a turnaround in your restaurant overall. All right? I hope that helps, and that's all I got.